All right, guys, we're here. We're late. I know I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late, but we're here. Okay, we are here live. Q started to push up a little bit early in pre-market. NVIDIA still sitting at 450s. Need to hit some coffee, man. We'll get some music playing here too. How you guys doing this morning? Y'all should be able to hear the music. Let me know. What's up, Mars, Caesar, Pawn, Trading, Keenan? Hey, what's up, Keenan? Thanks so much, man. No, I'm not going to be there, Chris. I have so many people asking me that if I'm going to be at SantaCon. But, like, again, I got a wife and family, brother. I'm in Houston, Texas, man. You know how far away that is from New York? I love New York, though, but... taxes. What's taxes mean? Did I say taxes? All right, look at the Q push up a little bit. I'm trying to see what stock is dragging the Q up like this. Look at this. So the Q is moving up. We're slightly red on the day so far. Pretty minor though. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, I mean, earnings drop. I don't think we had any earnings this morning, no. Oh, we had Neo earnings this morning, guys. I'm sorry, I'm late, dude. Is Neo out with theirs yet? I forgot about Neo earnings this morning, man. That might move EV. Let's see. Neo. No, Neo hadn't even dropped yet. Oh, no. Neo came out with EPS of 31 cents versus 30 cents year over year. Sales of 2.61 versus 1.83. So much higher than expected sales. They dropped early, so I'm glad I didn't try to cover this. Third quarter vehicle deliveries came in at 55,432. They included 37,585 premium smart electric SUVs and 17.85 thousand premium smart electric sedans. Total vehicle deliveries were up 75% year over year. They expect guidance numbers to show up at about 2.289, up by 0.1 to 4% year over year, and fourth quarter deliveries to be at 47 to 49K, up 17.3 to 22.3 year over year. If we look at Neo's gapping up on earnings. They forged a deal with I'm not even going to try to pronounce this group, regarding the acquisition of certain manufacturing equipment and assets. Yeah, you also go subscribe to Beach Bum Trading. His link's right there in chat. Good swing trading content. Here's my funny, not so funny story from yesterday. I knowingly lost my Rhythmic account when I was 5 long NASDAQ and went minus 7,900 in that one trade. Sorry to hear. Still a poll. The Jolts report's the big story of the day. The Jolts report calls bullish or bearish market action. Maybe. Maybe Star. The market might be waiting. Hey, that's nice of them, Sam. Yeah, they're pretty dope, man. Alright guys, and I'm looking at the market now. There's Neo though. Neo did report some earnings today. I don't know how much it's going to influence market. SPY is down. Y'all do me a favor, slap that like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right. Today we got MongoDB earnings, Dave & Buster's, Stitch Fix, a couple other ones. The big ones really are tomorrow evening with GameStop and C3. Those might have a big impact over everything. We also have ADP non-farm employment numbers. So we're in the blackout period for Jerome Powell. We got Bowman speaking at 3 p.m. today. Michael Gibson's testifying today as well. We got the FOMC meeting next Wednesday. CPI. Hey, what's up, Connor? How do you think Neo will close? I don't know, man. Neo, Neo was one that had a lot of hype. You know what I mean? Like, if we look at it, bro, this thing had so much hype. Neo once was $67 a share, roughly over $60 a share. The problem is that I think people realized that big oil runs the world, and a lot of these up-and-coming EV brands are going to struggle outside of Tesla. I think Rivian and Tesla are the two safest EV plays right now. I think all the other ones, Why'd you stop streaming, Connor? You still got your channel, bro. You got some subs, man.
What's going on, guys?
Sorry, I'm checking out your stuff right now, dude. So you having internet trouble, brother? Looks like you started streaming again. Yeah, I mean, the streaming landscape right now is saturated, brother. You know, the only reason we stick out and is because, you know, like, we've just been consistently streaming. That's the reason we stick out. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. I was about to make sure you had the check mark, bro. Because also, man, we use a service called StreamYard. Now, StreamYard was giving me problems with Jerome Powell last week. And so they're not perfect either, but we use one called StreamYard. It makes it really easy to manage the stream, bro. I used to do the old OBS method, bro. There was too many connection issues. Like, it was too difficult to get it to reliably connect on my end. And I've got gigabit internet connection. You know, this is a, you know, I've got a i9, you know what I mean, got like 120 something gigs of RAM. Like, we have certainly the power to do it, but yeah, just play around with stuff like that, bro. Jobs are killing it. Yeah, the jobs report is really interesting today for a few different reasons. The main one is this, right? The jobs report is interesting because of this. Powell specifically said one of the hurdles to getting inflation down to 2% was our robust job market. This is something he's been very consistent about over the last couple months in the FOMC meeting, you know, in interviews. He's been very consistent about saying the job market is incredibly robust and too resilient to a certain extent. Like, the jobs market is too resilient, basically meaning too many people are working and spending to make inflation go down at the pace we want it to go down. That's basically what Powell's saying. And so in that regard, one of the most important metrics we can watch is the jobs report. And that's what this week essentially is. So today we have the Jolts job report. It's a pretty big report. We also have services PMI, which is another look in jobs and specifically services, as well as tomorrow we have the non-farm employment change data, another version of a employment report. Thursday we have jobless claims, so how many people are filing for unemployment, and then Friday we have unemployment data, the unemployment rate dropping, as well as non-farm payroll, like payroll numbers dropping. These are all related to jobs, and with the previous comments that I said regarding Powell and what he thinks needs to happen, which is the job market needs to get pushed down in order for us to hit the inflation targets. In order for that to happen, these numbers need to come in low. And so because of that, I think if all of these reports, if unemployment comes in high, I think we're going to get a positive reaction. If payroll numbers come in low, I think we're going to get a positive reaction. If the Jolts report comes in low, I think we're going to get a positive reaction. If jobless claims come in high, all of these signaling less people working, I think the market's going to go up. You know, if it's the opposite and unemployment comes in low and payroll numbers come in high and jobless claims comes in low and the Jolts report comes in high, you know, in that situation, I think the market's going to react negatively. I think the market does not want that. I think the market wants, I think the market is more so fearing inflation right now to a certain extent. And like, with all that said, I think it's really, really important to understand that jobs are something that the Fed's paying attention to. So because of that, it's something that we want to pay attention to as well. Again, we want less people working. I want people to work. I want people to have jobs. I don't want people to be unemployed, just to clarify. But the market itself is going to want less people working, because the logic of this in terms of inflation is this: less people working means less people spending. Less people spending, businesses lower pricing, thus combating inflation. That is how the jobs market is directly related to inflation. And so it's something you want to pay attention to. And that's basically this week. And then next week we have one of the busiest weeks. Not only do we have GameStop and C3 AI earnings tomorrow, but next week we have CPI, PPI, the FOMC rate hike decision and press conference with Jerome Powell, and a lot of other stuff here, which are the biggest streams we ever do. You know, our Jerome Powell streams last week got like 30,000 plus views. Our Tsla, we streamed the Tsla Cybertruck debut delivery day. That thing got like 40 something thousand views. We had freaking thousands and thousands of people here. So thank you guys so much. We have grown a lot lately and I appreciate that, but let's keep the growth up into next week. Next week's certainly a busier week than this week, but this week's no slump in terms of economics. We got a lot of stuff dropping. It will influence the market to a certain extent. And again, let me know what you guys think the jobs market is going to look like today. You know, let me know what you guys think the job report's going to show today. Y'all, do me a favor. Bump that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Yeah, Connor, just email me, bro. Help me get these, let's try to get the stream up to 200 or 300 people here first. And this is all heading into the Jolts job report. Bro, my wrist hurts, bro. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu, dude. But I asked my coach, I was like, hey, do I roll too hard? Because this is something that I've been worried about. Like, do I roll too hard? Because again, I went to like one of the night classes, and apparently like the night classes are a different dynamic than the morning classes, where in the morning classes, apparently we're much more aggressive. The coach that we have in the morning classes is much more, you know, at nighttime, they start sitting down and they basically butt scoot to each other and roll, you know what I mean? Which makes them really good at like half guard bottom, half guard top, like all that stuff. But my coach, he never lets us sit down starting. We only start standing up. And his logic is like, well, if you get into a street fight, are you gonna butt scoot to your opponent? Of course not. He's gonna soccer kick you in the face, you know. And so with that, you know, you better start standing. And I actually agree with that logic. So we start standing. But anyways, I went to the night class, and apparently I think some people were mad that I rolled too hard, and I was kind of taken off guard by like, I rolled too hard. Like, what? I've asked numerous people. I'm like, hey, am I supposed to, like, do I roll too hard? You know, and they're like, no, you're supposed to go hard. Like when after you bump hands, like that's it. And he was like, we're trying to train killers here, you know, which is good, I guess, but I don't want to rub people the wrong way either. Yeah, I heard about the GTA 6 trailer dropping this morning. All right, guys. So, again, look at Neo. Neo released a couple different metrics this morning as well. I'm starting to see if Tesla is going to go up a little bit. Tesla granted U.S. patent number 11837523 for an inverter. That came out this morning. I wonder if Tesla is going to move a little bit with Neo's numbers, although they are competitors. A lot of the time what you'll see with Neo, and this is just something that's obviously true. With Neo, a lot of the times you'll see executives from Neo attending the Tesla tech like debuts, right? And I'm not saying they're stealing from Tesla, but they might be gaining inspiration from the Tesla tech, which to be fair, everybody in EV is too. Any life advice to a single 36-year-old man with no kids? I mean, it depends on what you want to do with your life, brother, George. Okay. It depends on what you want to do with your life, brother. Do you want to have kids is the question. Because if you do want to have kids, which again, I'm personally under the belief that if you don't have kids, you want to have kids. You know, you could say, oh, I just don't like kids or whatever. And that's fine. And listen, it's your life. Like, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. When you start to get really old, like, you know, I'm not gonna say an age that I think is really old to not offend people here. But when you start to get much older, okay, you're gonna want a support system around you. And you can say, oh, well, I've got friends or whatever. I don't know if it's necessarily the same. I don't know if that's reliable. You know what I mean? Like, the good thing about having kids is that, you know, for better or worse, you're gonna have people that have your back when you get older, right? Like, that's the huge asset of having kids. It's work for sure. Like, you got to put in work, but you know you're gonna have people that care and love you as you get older and have your back. And that's an important thing, man. You know, life gets boring and dull. So I guess the first thing is, do you want kids? Number one, 36, bro. You still got time, dude. You know, you still got time. Like, my female cousin is 43, and she just had another baby. Perfectly healthy baby. This kid came out a freaking tank. My dad's side's a bunch of freaking Vikings over there. You know, this cousin's like 6 foot tall. You know what I mean? I'm like the runt of my dad's side of the family. You know, I'm like 5'11", and I'm like the runt. You know, I'm the shortest one there. My aunt is the same height as me. You know, my cousin, female cousin, is taller than me. My male cousin's definitely taller than me. I'm like the little runt. You know, a bunch of freaking Vikings over there. Anyway. You got a point there, bro. Kids are not guaranteed to care about you in the future. No, nothing's guaranteed, but you certainly got pretty good odds of that if you raise them right. Yeah, for sure, Shepard. Oh, I get it. I had my kids in my 20s too, you know, but like, late's better than never, I think. Again, I think it's important. A lot of people don't understand, and again, I'm not judging you, man. I'm like, again, adopt. It doesn't matter to me. Like, do whatever you want to do. Adopt a baby if you want to, you know. Like, it doesn't necessarily, like, but my point is, like, when you hit, you know, 50, 60, 70, you're gonna want a support system. Like, you're gonna look back and probably be like, man, regardless of anything else, like, I probably should have had kids. And so I guess the biggest, don't make the mistake of thinking the way you feel now. And freedom's great, bro. Listen, I love my own time, you know. Like, I miss having it as kids, and especially like babies, like, you don't get any sleep. But that the hard part of raising kids is really like the first like 3 years when they're super dependent on you. After that, it's pretty fun, and you get to like hang out, and you got like a little homie you can hang out with. Yeah, I mean, you can volunteer, that's fine. Yeah, and again, I understand there's going to be some of you guys at home that disagree with me. And listen, it's all love here. Again, it's y'all's life. I'm not judging. I can't see it from your perspective. And so it's all love here. It's all good. Like, again, live your life. I'm not mad at you, you know. Yeah, travel if you can. Right, once you make it through the terrible twos, I mean, I don't know, you say that, like, Pawn knows some of the stuff I'm going through with my son right now, and so what I'll tell you is, like, being a parent is freaking difficult. Like, it's hard. It is not easy. It's emotionally taxing. It's the best, emotionally and physically taxing is the best word for it. But again, it's an investment you gotta make, you know what I mean? There's no better feeling than teaching your kid something. Like, I trained my daughter at baseball, softball, her whole life. There's nothing better than watch her go compete in softball right now and just destroy the other kids on her team, you know, on other teams and on her team. Same thing with Jiu-Jitsu. I taught her a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu too, and she goes out there and like uses what I teach her. Best feeling ever, you know. Yeah, for sure. That's what we're planning to do as well, Shepard, you know. Because I'll be in my 40s when my kids are grown. Now, most of the time it's playful, George. He said, at the beginning, I thought you were always mad for some reason. Your tone sometimes gives the impression you're mad, bro, but I know it isn't the case. Yeah, it's playful. It's playful aggression is what it is. I'm not angry. I'm trolling a little bit and just kind of horsing around and, like, jokingly sounding angry, but I'm not. Again, I'm just kind of having fun with it. All right, guys. Hey, NVIDIA at 450. Yeah, I didn't really grow up until I had kids, man. I really didn't. But before I had kids, I was still off, like, partying and doing dumb stuff, for lack of a better word. And I didn't really get my mind right and start growing up until I had children, you know. But I'm not saying you need that to grow up, but just for me personally. Anyways, again, NVIDIA at 450s right now. I think 450 is a big psychological level, and I think we're testing that level over and over again, you know. So we've tested that level a couple different times and actually respected it. So I think we have to watch 450, as well as I think if we actually break under 450, we might actually be in some big breakdown status for NVIDIA and in turn the rest of the market. So this is something that I'm watching. I'm watching for this. If this happens, there might be a potential short on this in the queue, right? Like that's what I'm looking for right now. Maybe this is not, maybe this is off. Maybe it's not going to happen like that, and that's certainly possible. But that's what I'm specifically looking for right now. Who do you think Ohtani will go to? Oof, I don't know, man. I hope he goes somewhere where he can win a World Series, right? And so, realistically, the Braves. I want him to go to the Braves. And if the Braves land him, which I don't even know, I haven't been paying attention to baseball. If the Braves land him, you know, they're set. You know what I mean? They're set. Yeah, Neo earnings are out. Kids are impossible these days. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the parents, to be honest. Like, it really does. Like, it depends on the parents. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, for sure. For Ohtani's sake, I hope he goes to the Braves, because the Braves are killers, you know. And I want Ohtani to win a World Series. I just don't know if he's going to. I just hope he doesn't go somewhere like, you know, yeah. I hope he doesn't go somewhere really bad, you know. Like, I hope he doesn't go to, like, the White Sox. You know what I mean? That would probably be the worst. The White Sox, the Rockies, you know, the Royals even, you know, the Marlins. I just hope he doesn't go to any of those teams because, you know, the Pirates. Like, I just hope he doesn't go to any of those teams, basically. I'm okay with any other team except, like, if he wants to win, I think he should go to the Braves. I think he should go to the Dodgers, the Astros. I'd love for him to hit up the Astros, of course. You know, definitely not the Athletics, the Oakland A's. Hey, thanks, George. Appreciate you being in the stream, bro. Appreciate the love, man. Thanks so much. Yeah, good luck with that, bro. Again, it's your life, dude. Again, to follow up on that question, because I think it's a good question. Any advice for me? I'm 36 with no kids. While you don't have kids, bro, build as much. Listen, if you want to have kids when you're older, right? Like if you want to have kids in your 40s, the easiest way to guarantee being able to have kids in your 40s is to build up business, man. Like start learning how to make some money, brother. You know, if you do, you'll be able to have kids whenever you want. You know, for lack of a better way to say it. And so learn how to build your business up while you have the flexibility. Because again, in my opinion, I'm at a severe disadvantage in terms of business. Like I just don't have the time that I need to devote. Like I think my channel could be much larger right now if I had the time to devote to it. But parenting takes time, you know, it really does. It takes time, energy, you know. When I do have free time, most of the time I just want to freaking sit down for a second. And so while you don't have a bunch of monsters yelling at you to make them some cereal in the morning, you know, stack your bread, bro. You know, make some money. Start a business. Do whatever you're going to do. Braves and Dodgers would be best. Yeah, 100%. Spy at 455. Again, bouncing right here at this level. We got a little double bottom, although the liquidity is still pretty light, in all honesty. Like, the liquidity is pretty low. Yeah, exactly. You must be joking, bro. Kids until 7? 7? Bro, I'm not going to helicopter parent my child, you know. After, like, 4... your kid can hang out by yourself, doesn't need constant interaction with you, you know? I mean, you still hang out with him. You don't just, you know, ditch him all day. But, like, it's fairly easy to, you don't have to, the best way to phrase it is you don't have to worry as much about leaving your kid by themselves for a second after, like, 3 or 4. You know, they're basically going to be fine. I mean, you still got to keep an eye on them, but... the Phillies. Honestly, I like the Phillies. I dislike the fans. I like Bryce Harper, bro. You know, I was always a big fan of Bryce Harper. He's one of my favorite players. But, like, the fan base of the Phillies, just toxic. Why does my broker show that Amazon stock dropped 95% on June of 2022? I don't know. Amazon? Let me see. When? June 2022. Yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't drop 95%. 95% in June of 2022 would be, yeah, 95% would be, 95% would be like down to like 7 relative to where we were, 7 or 8. All right, guys. Yeah, and again, we're gonna get ready to potentially trade here. We just need some good stuff to watch, man. Again, we got the Jolts report today. Nasdaq's very flat, very sideways. When I pull it up in futures, so I gotta open up Quant Tower again. Yeah, maybe it's on demand. I haven't traded on demand in so long. Yeah, exactly, Pod. Yeah, it might have been a split day. I'm not sure. I can't see it right here. There's too much stuff, but... what do you think of the trend NVIDIA is making since November 1st? Yeah, what you're talking about the bearish trend in NVIDIA, right? We look at a daily chart here. Yeah. Or no, I'm sorry. So November 1st. Okay, so yeah, NVIDIA is basically, I mean, you could call this a bull flag. The only problem with this is, and again, I don't know what this is or what it's going to do. We're basically just guessing here. You're talking about this as the flag. The only problem with it is that the angle here is a little bit too steep, in my opinion. Like, that's kind of a steep flag. No, like if the flag was like this, it would be a little bit better. But this one is like this, you know, which is, I think, a worse bullish sign, like less bullish, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, pure speculation. I don't know what NVIDIA is going to do, but I think the down angle is a little bit steep for me in a flag pattern. I think the good sign, again, I talked about this level earlier in NVIDIA. This is a level that I'm going to be, you know, definitely watching today, is 450. Like, here's 450. I think 450, big psychological level. It's the middle ground between 4 and 500, and I think that's a very watched, very big psychological level. Look at the SPY just crack lows. So the SPY just cracked lows in pre-market. The big low is from the low from yesterday. Look at this low yesterday. And so SPY just cracked lows, started to test it. And again, the market's still pretty neutral. I mean, again, the problem, like what I saw, is like people acting like this in NVIDIA was just the end of the world. But again, a lot of you guys need to look at this daily chart. Like, NVIDIA has done the exact same thing over and over again. Honestly, I think one of the best plays in NVIDIA has been a range-bound play basically since July. Like, look at NVIDIA. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's done the same thing since July. You know, so like basically when it hits 5, that's been your short queue lately. And again, it's the only risk is you gotta, if you're gonna take that type of trade, I'm certainly not recommending it. But if you're gonna take that type of trade, you gotta be, you know, you gotta helicopter parent that thing, because if not and it does break 500 and starts to run, and again, you'll know, like, you're gonna hear so much stuff about NVIDIA testing highs. If that happens, like, you gotta cut the trade. But again, that rejection at $500 has happened every time, and then the bounce at 400 has happened every time. Here, and so again, right now NVIDIA is in one of the most obvious ranges of any stock on a daily chart. You know, same range. You can draw a literal rectangle around it. And so again, I don't know what it's gonna do, but I think that's a big level to watch. But again, with all of that in mind, 450 right now makes a lot of sense to me. You know, 450, big psychological level. It's actually testing it now. And what I said earlier is that if we crack this level, I'm probably gonna start shorting stuff. Because again, I just think it's a big psychological level, you know. So we'll see. Again, watching NVIDIA, watching a couple other ones, but yeah. Because right now NVIDIA is sideways too. I'm watching the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's flat as well. SPY just broke back over that level. Rate cut in March. Yeah, I'm not sure when we're going to cut rates. A lot of people thought May, but that's subject to change. Yeah, but Burry ended up losing from that trade, right? I don't know. That's what everybody said, is that he lost from that trade. Again, I think the biggest risks, and I say this all the time, but I think the biggest risks here, guys, is that, like, if you're overly short bias and you stay in that bias long term, it's risky because the market's natural flow is up long term. Like, the market's going to go up long term, and so if you're just constantly looking to short it, it's going to cloud that judgment, I think. Now, what I'm watching right now is, like, a lot of the time, stuff will move down, test lows, do a small little baby bounce, and then crack down, right? Again, you can kind of see it on the SPY here where we got something like this. We test lows, we bounce up, and then we break down. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't always happen, though, but that's kind of what I'm peeping out right now to see if we can get something like that. Oh, it's semiconductor short. Oh yeah, I was talking about his market short. Funny that people are now optimistic in my polls. Are they really? Yeah, I've seen a lot of optimism in the polling lately. I really have. Like, I've seen a lot of people like hyped up about the market. Maybe the jobs report this week is gonna help. I'm not sure. You know, we got the Jolts report today, and we got services PMI, which is interesting. Here, the Q is basically the NASDAQ chart. So again, here's the Q. Q's doing a very similar thing. What I see right now is this wedge, too. If you guys see this wedge, might be a little bit better drawing it on the actual NASDAQ. But again, we can kind of see this wedge, too. The whole market might be just waiting for a jobs report coming out. It might look better on a 5-minute chart as well. Look at a 5-minute chart. Yeah, again, I think this wedge looks a little bit better on a 5-minute chart. The only question mark is this, but that's all right. Yeah, you might want to refresh it, Sam. Gold at 2K? Is it pulling back to 2K? Yeah. I mean, gold's been here for a few days. Again, market's just really flat right now, including the NASDAQ. All right, so we're sitting tight here. Look at the SPY big bounce. Watching the NASDAQ still on the right. Tesla. GitLab lately. What's the symbol? Tesla is still down too, but Tesla's been pretty flat, all things considered. Again, remember, we do have the Jolts report. We got services PMI. We're going to stream all of this live like we always do. All right, market's neutral right now. Trying to be patient and see what else we got. All right, so again, we're moving up a little bit, but The market's still very flat. I would be careful. I think the whole market's just kind of waiting for the jobs report to drop. I'm still pushing up a little bit. All right, guys, so NASDAQ right around that 15.8 thousand level. SPY still trying to move up some. We're also watching Tesla try to creep back up. Tesla moving back over VWAP here. What's up? What's up, Douglas? Short Tesla at the open. Hey, good luck. This is toss, think or swim. All right, team. Should I short the SPY here is what I'm looking at right now. Any other big stock market news right now? Let me check. I don't see anything. All right, so Dow fell 91 points. S&P down 0.4 and 0.5% for the NASDAQ. GitLab. What's the symbol for GitLab? I'm assuming it's Git. Oh, it's GTLB. I don't know much about this company, but it's gapping up on what is this, earnings for GTLB for GitLab? Earnings yesterday. Okay, so this is earnings yesterday. Looks like good guidance. Yeah, positive guidance. They're now expecting for the fourth quarter a positive EPS versus a loss expected previously of 0.1% or a 0.01 or 1 cent loss per share. So, watching that. Small caps have been moving a little bit. Coastal Wealth Senior Executive Vice President Jason Heller said, quote, "We believe there are a few upward catalysts for stocks given elevated interest rates, a weakening consumer, and tempered earning expectations. We expect stocks to remain in a narrow trading range," end quote. We're in the blackout period right now, which means, like, again, ahead of the FOMC meeting, starting a week before the FOMC meeting, Powell is not allowed to speak regarding the economy or potential rate hike decisions. Again, for a week leading up to the Fed meeting, and then a week afterwards, there's a blackout period. It lasts for only a couple weeks. But yeah, we are now in that blackout period, so we're not going to have any Feds speaking about interest rates or anything like that. Well, Permable's fine. Like, again, it depends on what you're looking at, though. Like, in the market, I'm not always bullish, but long-term, the market's going to go up, and that's not an arguable thing. That's going to happen. It's never 100%. But C3 has earnings tomorrow, GeForce, not today. So GameStop and C3 earnings are tomorrow. But yeah, what I was saying is that the natural flow of the market is up. The market is going to go up long term, right? Now, you could either play the favorable side, or you could be a contrarian and bet against that. Again, betting against that, if you stay steady with that, like if you don't change when the market moves up, it's kind of a sucker's bet. And again, I'm not saying the market's not going to go down, but still, I think it's important for people to understand that Just listen. You can short term. If you try to short long term, you're usually going to lose. That's all I really, you know. In Jiu-Jitsu, I got my first smother tap yesterday. You know, if you don't know what smother tap is, it's a submission in which you tap the person out. It's basically what it sounds. Basically from mount. I felt kind of bad doing it. Is that like bad form? I don't think so, I guess. Alright. Again, so the NASDAQ and the SPY are both still trying to move up a little bit. They're trying to head up. We're looking to maybe take some plays here. Great job. Don't feel bad. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the guy wasn't new. I mean, he was a little bit newer than I was. I always feel bad because, like, and again, I don't have anybody else to talk about this stuff with, so I'm just going to kind of rant to you guys about it. Because Carol hears enough jiu-jitsu stuff anyway. But I always feel bad because, like, I try to raise up the other white belts that are newer than me. And, like, so I'll tell them, I'll be like, hey, you're getting much better. Hey, you're doing great, right? But I think sometimes I'll tell them that, and they think they're going to be, like, competitive with me. And then I'll just kind of tap them out like 4 or 5 times, you know, and then they seem like all upset afterwards, like they're disappointed in themselves. And I try to just tell them, look, if I roll with a purple belt, I'm going to get absolutely destroyed, you know, most of the time, at least. If they're full rolling with me, I'm just going to get destroyed. Blue belt as well, most of the time. So there's just levels to it, but I don't want to discourage people. I know there's, like I said this before, I know there's a couple times where people came into my gym that were brand new. And I didn't know I was supposed to go easy on them because I didn't know how much experience they had. And so I just kind of started rolling with them normally, like guillotining and stuff like that. And then afterwards I realized they were brand new. And then I never saw them again, you know. And so I don't want to hurt somebody's experience like that. Maybe I should learn to slow down. Appreciate you for always being here for us. True Rockstar. If I ever get really rich, I'm going to hook you up. Hey, I'm going to wait for that, bro. I'm going to wait for that. Yeah, I'm not injuring anybody. So Jolts report is expected today, guys. Jolts report is expected today at Jolts report today is expected at 9.4 million. Last time it came in at 9.6 million. And again, I think if it's something in which we have higher than expected Jolts numbers, that's going to be bad. That's going to make the market dip. Lower than expected numbers might make the market go up and vice versa. Because I don't think the market wants... Again, if what Powell says rings true, he does not want a robust job market. He wants to push down the labor market and in turn give us a better edge in terms of inflation. Every time a job report comes out. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Wait, did the trailer actually drop, V? Is the trailer out? Bro, the back graphics better look good, dude. This game takes freaking so much time. That's it. Bro, 2025, bro? Bro, you know what I'm disappointed about, man? Is that everything takes so long nowadays. Like, isn't technology supposed to help this? Like, aren't we supposed to have faster turnaround times? I feel like every show that I like is going to be out, is going to take years for the new one to come out. Years, you know? Like, I like 1923. The next one's not coming out for years. I like Stranger Things that I watch with my kids. Next one's not coming out for years. I like The Last of Us. Next one's not coming out for years. You know? I like House of Dragon, Game of Thrones. Next one's not coming out for freaking years, bro. They can't have a better turnaround than this. What happened with the new season dropping every year? What happened to that standard? You know? Like, why? Like, why does it take freaking years to watch these shows? To a certain extent, it's not worth it getting interested in a show because you know it's going to be freaking years until the next one drops. Market's pushing up a little bit. We're getting a surge right now, team. We're getting a surge up. Let me see if we can find the reason for it. AutoZone released numbers already. Ford and Xcel Energy are installing 30,000 almost free chargers for fleet customers. JP Morgan client treasury survey speculative account showed a 14% decline in long positions, which moved to the neutral sector. All clients show no activity. Goldman Sachs CEO Solomon expects inflation to be stickier in 24, and the U.S. economy has been more resilient than expected. So that was Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon. Yeah, that's crazy though, you know. It's not worth it being a fan of anything anymore. Dividend day for NVIDIA. I mean, it's gonna drop. Yeah, but even without the writer strike, it still takes freaking years for new ones to come out. The new GTA looks cool and all. And I don't know if I'm just getting old though, but like I'm not as hyped up as like I like video games. I just don't have the time to play them like that anymore. And so I want to get excited about GTA. I'm almost certainly gonna play it, but like I don't have the time to give to it as much. All right, guys. Thinking video will fall further. Yeah, we're looking at NVIDIA. I'm gonna put a video up here on the NASDAQ. Anyway, there's NVIDIA right now, bouncing right at that 450 level, like we talked about it. That level might be like a set in stone spot. Hood got an upgrade. John, you're not creative. I'm actually a pretty creative person, believe it or not. Like I can write fairly well as well, like books. I just don't like to create is the difference. Like, I can write, I just don't like writing, you know? I'm not going to give my resume for what I'm talking about, but I can write. I just don't enjoy it. I don't mind writing. I don't like writing for work. Like, I don't like somebody saying, hey, you got to finish this within this amount of time. You know, that's not fun. Let me pull up Discord, Pawn. Sorry, bro. I haven't even opened it up yet. Yeah, but creative takes time. I understand, but the difference now, though, like, and I understand that creating good stuff takes time. I really do. The problem nowadays, though, like the real issue we're running into is that the movie studios are more, the TV and movie studios are more greedy. Now, somebody mentioned this, but instead of just go ahead and doing multiple seasons, like, of course the Game of Thrones season is going to get snatched up for a season 2. Like, that's not a very, like, that's a super highly probable thing, of course. So, like, them waiting until they actually get the green light to do another season is silly. Like, they know it's going to go for a season 2, right? So at a certain point, it's just the movie studios being greedy and needing a sure thing instead of taking risks, right? It's also why you see such bad movies coming out. Like, there's so many remakes, is because they've lost their creativity. You know what I mean? They're looking for sure things in the movie studios, and that's diluting the quality of the stuff that they're putting out. Is because instead of being able to take risks and risking failure and making unique stories that nobody's ever seen before, even though that might cause them to risk failure, they're instead trying to go for the sure thing money, which is remake after remake after remake. And that's been happening a lot in movies over the last decade. I love movies. I'm a big movie guy, but that's been happening a lot, unfortunately. And it all boils down to the movie studios are unwilling to take risks. Intel not doing good today. Yeah, Intel has had a pretty good little run, though. Like, Intel's had a pretty good run the last couple periods of time, you know. We'll see if we keep getting some good runs. Pull up Chart Prime and see what we get. A lot of E-mini alerts. We got 5 minutes. Let's put the 1 minute charts up now. Yeah, market's turning here, guys. So market is turning up big. Sorry, I'm pulling my trading view alerts up. So we got the NASDAQ at E-mini 1 minute, 5 minutes. Put that up as well. All right. Intel had a great run. Yeah, to me, it's just that Intel kind of works out as an indicator at the moment. Yeah, for microchips, potentially. Yes, just under 30-minute VWAP. ARK is buying it and dumped Coinbase. So for somebody that truly believes in crypto, I wonder why ARK dumped Coinbase. That's an interesting decision. All right, again, guys, remember, we got the Jolts report today. So the Jolts report will be really interesting to gauge what the market's going to do. Again, into next week's inflation report, it's really important. Mortgage rate is fall. 5.5% of the median house prices to fall. All right, so here's an interesting Moody's stat right here, guys. So here's a really interesting Moody's stat. The interesting Moody's stat is Steve Burns posted this. He said the mortgage rate has to fall to 5.5%, or the median priced home has to fall by 22%, or the median income has to increase by 28% for housing to become affordable again, according to Moody's economist Mark Zandi. And I kind of agree with that. Like the mortgage rate needs to fall. You know, again, I promise you, if you know any real estate agents, any mortgage brokers, any home selling business people in general, they are struggling right now. They are struggling. They do not have business. It is very difficult to talk people into, you know, getting a mortgage right now at 8%, even though 8% is not crazy high. It's just not. 8% is not ridiculously high. You know what I mean? It's just not. But with that said, it's still much higher than it has been over the last 10 years, you know, prior to the last year or two, of course. So 8% is very high very high relative to what it's been. And so nobody wants to buy a house in that situation. Like, you're basically going to be paying 2 to 3 times more than you would have 3 years ago. And so nobody wants to buy a house in that situation. SPY moving up big right now. SPY just bounced up a lot. We'll see if it keeps it up. But yeah, the SPY's bouncing some here. Data comes out at 10 a.m. Yeah, 8% on a house that increased 100% in value over the last 2 years is super high. 100%. Yep. GameStop earnings tomorrow. Huge. A lot of people saying overstimulation is ruining your life. Yeah, man, overstimulation really is a problem. Like, it's a problem. Like, a lot of people don't understand how big of a problem it is, right? If you have kids, you do. But your phone, short form content specifically, is like, you know, short form content. And again, you have to understand it in this way, right? Is that short form content, you have so many different context changes so quickly by going from video to video. So like, instead of like normally, you know, 5 years ago, you watch a video, that video is going to be what, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes? You know what I mean? Now imagine that relative to now, where you watch a video, it might be 20 seconds, and then you need another context change, and then that lasts 20 seconds, and then you get another context change, and then that's 20 seconds, right? What does that mean? Is that your attention span, and more so than that, but the dopamine system in your brain is all out of whack, because it needs constant context changes to be happy. You know what I mean? That's where overstimulation really gets us in modern age, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. How can you say 8% is not that high while it's about 4% more than last year? You're not listening to me. Okay, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Okay, what I am saying is that conventionally, 8% is around median. It's about in the middle. You know, conventionally, it's about in the middle. Okay, it's not highs. It's not the highest we've ever been. I'll put it that way. Okay, it's genuinely right around the middle. All right, but if you look at the last 20 years, it's very freaking high. Very freaking high. And so it's all relative to the sample size, the time frame you're looking at it with. And again, if you look at it over the last 20 years, it is incredibly high. Incredibly high. If you look at it lifetime of interest rates in general, it's pretty middle ground. It's pretty neutral. It's not like sky high, crazy, ridiculous. It is pretty middle ground. You know, that's what I'm saying. I understand it's very high relative to what it's been. Like, of course, it's super high relative to what it's been. All right, guys. Again, we got the Jolts job report at 10 a.m. today, guys. 10 a.m. Yes. That's correct, MA. Roughly. That's about right. All right, so again, there's NVIDIA. Let's take a look at Tesla here. Here's Tesla. Tesla mostly flat too. I mean, we got this little range here. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? GameStop looks prime for 20 plus. Yeah, where's GameStop at right now? I know GameStop. There's a lot of stuff going on with GameStop right now. Specifically, we got earnings tomorrow for both them and C3 AI. Very large earnings reports. Very big earnings releases here for GameStop for sure. C3 AI is going to be incredibly relevant for market activity, earnings, all that stuff. So it's going to be a big time for earnings for sure. With that, though, a lot of people are going to be watching GameStop. They're supposed to be like SantaCon in New York City over the weekend. Is supposed to have thousands of people dressed up like Santa / Roaring Kitty. Thousands of people dressed up like Roaring Kitty as kind of like a, you know, as a peaceful protest for GameStop. And so a lot of people have been talking about it. GameStop is moving up really nicely. It's at about 17 a share right now, 17 a share. And so, yeah, that's the big thing with GameStop right now. So a lot of people are watching it ahead of earnings, ahead of that big event. All right, so NASDAQ's now dipping down some, but yeah, there's GameStop. Where's AMC at? I know AMC has certainly been more of a struggle. Reach out to them, Lucio. I'm not sure what you're asking there, but I would ask them, brother. Your views on the Dow and the NASDAQ? They're broad market index funds. Hey man, joined late today. Can you give us a little summary? Market's been mostly flat. This week we got a jobs report week where we have a lot of different jobs reports coming out. These are all going to be highly influential over the market. Specifically, the big ones this week are going to be today's Jolts report and Friday's non-farm payroll and unemployment numbers. You know, we're in a market in which Powell has consistently said that the labor market is too robust, too resilient, and that in order for us to hit our 2% inflation targets over time, we need the labor market to get beaten down a little bit. That type of sentiment is incredibly relevant right now with this week's big job reports starting today with the Jolts report at 10 a.m. and the services PMI report at 10 a.m. So it's a very important, very relevant day for markets. We got big Jolts reports dropping in about an hour and 40 minutes or so. And it's a big day. It's a big relevant event for markets. It's going to be something in which with all of these job reports in which more people working is probably, and again, I'm going to say probably because I'm not 100% sure either way, but we're probably in a market in which more people working is going to make people less happy market-wise. Like more people working is probably going to cause a worse reaction in stocks, and less people working is probably going to cause a more bullish reaction in stocks. What I mean by that is if the Jolts report comes in lower than expected, that's probably going to cause bullish action. Probably, because you never freaking know. If unemployment numbers come in high, again, that's probably going to cause a positive reaction in stocks. If payroll numbers come in low, probably going to cause a positive reaction in stocks. If jobless claims come in high, probably going to cause a positive reaction in stocks. And again, why do you? That's the opposite of convention. Like usually people want the opposite. Usually people want lower unemployment, higher payrolls, more GDP and economic growth and all that stuff. And that's good and fine. But again, with Powell basically saying we need the job market to get pushed down a little bit, that's the nuance of it, I think, right now. But again, we're never for sure. We don't know what the freak is going to happen here. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think the market wants more or less jobs right now? More or less jobs? Let me know in chat. Jolts is at 10 a.m. Pawn. So yeah, Jolts is at 10 a.m. Yeah, Jolts is at 10 a.m. We don't have any 8:30 releases today, basically. Biggest one is services PMI at 9:45 and 10, and then Jolts at 10. Bowman speaks as well, but not as big of a release. All right, so again, you can kind of see the NASDAQ and the SPY bouncing up a little bit. Here's Tesla. 233s. You can't always get what you want. They just want the expectation higher as a problem, so it's lower. Well, problem in different ways, I guess. Economics wise. Again, the market has been in a stage in which they don't want more economic growth. Like less economic growth is better right now, is seen as positive. But it's not always going to be like that. So BLK sold 100,000 of its Bitcoin ETF shares to a seed investor in October. $100,000 worth of its Bitcoin ETF, I should clarify. All right, so NASDAQ still bouncing back up a little bit. We are now over the 200 EMA on the NASDAQ. Tesla back over the 200 EMA. SPY back over the 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price. Also, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep funded account program and futures. If you want to day trade, I'm going to stop you right here to tell you that if you want to be able to day trade, learn how to day trade in futures first, okay? Like, you might wonder why I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that because you can save so much more money learning how to trade in futures versus stocks. If you try to learn how to day trade in stocks, you're going to be restricted by the PDT rule. So you're basically going to need at least $25,000 in a margin account to be able to actively day trade without restriction, right? To get instant settlement, to be able to take as many trades as you want per day, you're gonna need over $25,000, right? Number one, a new trader trading with 25K is so risky because new traders don't have any risk management. And if you think you're gonna be some outlier there, you're probably not. You're probably not. And so, love you.
Love you.
Love the sweater that I bought, but I like it.
What we got for a discount?
Yeah, discount. It had a little stain on it. The dude gave us a discount,
Yeah.
you know? Love you. Have a good day. But yeah, so it's one of those situations in which, maybe, probably. But yeah, it's a situation in which most day traders lose money, and most day traders will lose their first account. And so if you try to trade a $25,000 account for your first account, as many get rich quick pumps and pushes and courses you take, you're still probably going to lose. And again, that's a very risky thing to do so at 25K. A much cheaper and better option if you want to learn day trading is futures. And the funded account program Top Step is the most legit way to learn, in my opinion. What they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. The base one's 50K. You can get one all the way up to 150K. And if you can hit the profit target without hitting the max loss in that demo account, then they fund you a lot. Then they have either an express funded or a live funded account that you can try. And that makes it very, very much less risky to learn how to trade. Why is it less risky? Is because if you lose, the base one on Top Step is $49. So if you lose, instead of losing a huge $1,000 plus account, you're losing $49. You could try again for another $49. For less than $100, you could try twice. And if you're good enough to pass it, you're still going to get a 90% split once you're funded. They have free funding coaches, tons of resources, great way to learn. And the rewards are very similar to putting the money up yourself. You get a 90% split. If you lose, you're going to probably lose less than you would putting up the money up yourself, especially if you're new. Most day traders lose, and so it doesn't make sense for you to try to look cool and risk thousands of dollars. Try a funded account program like Top Step. They are a sponsor of mine, and so I'm definitely biased in their favor because they pay me money and they're a sponsor, but I still believe they're incredibly useful, incredibly beneficial for traders. If you want to check them out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Oh, and you get to keep your first 10K. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Good morning, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, man. Again, I've told the story. When I first started trading, I used a platform called Sure Trader. This was Guy Gentile. He had his own platform called Sure Trader. It was an offshore brokerage where you would put the money in and they would give you like 6-to-1 leverage. And so you put $1,000 in, they give you $6,000 to trade. And, there were high commissions and like, I ended up putting that money in. And again, I got sold on the day trading get rich quick thing in the beginning. It's one of the reasons you see me preach against it so much here, is because I got sold on the penny stock, get rich quick, buy my penny stock course. Luckily, I never paid for anybody's course because I was always a little bit more, what's the word? Cheap is definitely a word. I was definitely cheap, but I was a little bit more resourceful than needing to spend thousands of dollars on some guru's course. I'm not saying you could find them online for free somewhere. I would never tell you guys to do that. But anyways, I deposited my money. And I thought I was about to just get rich quick. I ended up just losing thousands of dollars in the first few weeks. And this is a pretty common story. I mean, most people have the same story. It's pretty similar. Most people have the same exact story where they get started, they save up money or they have some money. They think they're going to get rich quick. Maybe they follow a guru and then they just lose a bunch. Pretty similar story all the way around. Yeah, frugal could be one word. I would say resourceful. Basically, I'd rather spend my $1,000 on other stuff than some guru's course. Not against all courses. Again, you know me. I mean, I think there's some good courses out there. You just got to be weary of the ones charging like 6K or whatever it is. Like, those are freaking crazy. It's unnecessary. They're just ripping you off. And again, we'll see when the mortgage rate goes down, man. What year do y'all think the mortgage rate's going to drop under 5%? Do you think it's going to be 2024, 2025, beyond? What do you guys think? What year do you think the mortgage rate's going to drop? FTD count on get beyond GameStop very high. That's why they push up. Watch out for rug pulls. Set your stops. Hey, good luck, brother. Don't trade. It's gambling. Well, I mean, it depends. I've said this before, but it depends on what you classify as gambling. If you classify gambling of just risking money, then a lot of things are gambling. Buying a house is gambling. Applying for a mortgage is gambling. Buying a car is gambling. All right. If that's how you classify gambling, almost everything that you spend money on is a gamble in that regard. If you classify gambling as risking money with unfavorable odds, well, then it depends on the trader. It depends on what kind of trading they're doing. It depends on their skill set. It depends on a lot of different stuff. I'm not denying most day traders lose money. You know, again, if you ever hear me preach, I'm probably one of the only guys that tell you guys the truth about it, which is that almost all day traders are going to lose money, 90+%. These statistics aren't that hard to find. Almost all day traders are going to lose money. But the ones that succeed and that learn how to do it successfully, that'll be a skill that they'll have for the rest of their life. But you know, again, it doesn't get past the point that most day traders lose money. And so again, you can either put the money up yourself and take crazy big risks, or you could try a funded account program and take much less risk. Yeah, same story, different person, 100% Tony. That's just kind of how it goes. Oh, bro, Jack in the Box tacos. The GOAT tacos, bro. I love Jack in the Box tacos, dude. I grew on Jack in the Box tacos. But yeah, they're definitely gambles. Yeah, long-term investing will usually outperform trading. Not always, but usually. Lossing money. Top 3 lossers in the world right now. Rate's going to be up for a long time if recession doesn't come. I think that's basic level to have 5% or so. I think basically they're going to cut when the next recession comes. Bro, Jack in the Box, best marketing push in the world. 50-cent tacos. What? You know? Bro, I used to go to Jack in the Box and I would get like 20 tacos. I'd be like, give me 20 tacos, $10. Alright, S&P moving up a little bit. We'll see if we get some good action here. Again, we got an hour until the market opens, about an hour and a half before these data comes out. Jolts is at 10. Oreo shake. I was more of like a McFlurry guy. I love Oreo, but I was more like Oreo McFlurry. Jack in the Box, again, I was more of like a tacos guy. Jack in the Box breakfast menu is underrated. Yeah, 10 a.m. Hey John, can you give us your take on Tesla? Yeah, so Tesla right here, rip it over that 234 level. I think the daily chart looks strong, but also, you know, Tesla's incredibly volatile. And so I think, again, I can't say for sure. You know, I think this is the trend that Tesla's been in basically since June. You know, I think we started it around here, and obviously we've been in this trend where we're going up and down and up and down and up. And so it just depends on how long we stay in this trend, and I'm not sure. We could see something like this, where we break past that trend. You know, that's possible. But again, I'm not sure. That's the current trend I see for Tesla long term. I think long term Tesla will be fine, but current trend we're in on a daily chart is a downward trend, slightly down. It's not a huge downward trend though, and we could always break past it at any time. I'm not a big curly fry fan. I was never like big into curly fries. Like I always hear people have all this hype about like, ooh, curly fries. I mean, I was not really, you know, I'm like a regular fry type of guy, you know. Anyways. All right. Is Is the car market going to collapse? A lot of people are saying it will. All right, so the Nasdaq's consolidating up there. Tesla intraday though, again, it started off weak. It's now starting to rebound. It's moved up about 50% of the gap down already in Tesla over 234. 234 seems to be a level, but we'll see if it actually holds that spot. Wendy's regular fries. Yeah, I like Wendy's. It's been so long since I've been. It's probably been years since I went to Wendy's. Checkers, man. We used to have a Checkers on Drusilla in Baton Rouge, but I think it got replaced by Cane's. I like Cane's, but still. Silver reaction on the upcoming reports. I'm not sure what silver's going to do. All right, so we got a bearish engulfing candle show up on, what is this, the S&P? So bearish engulfing candle showed up here. What's my portfolio looking like? Oh, we're pretty much flat right now. Apple's up again today. That's nice. Yeah, we got Jolts report. Yeah, I like the potatoes at Wendy's for sure. That's usually what I go to get it as well. I think of Garth Brooks when you say Baton Rouge. That's how people from Baton Rouge say it. We say BR Baton Rouge. You know, it's kind of the same thing with New Orleans, right? Like, you'll hear a lot of, like, people from out of town call it New Orleans. Nobody from Louisiana calls it New Orleans. The only people that call it that are Johnny B. Good, you know, and people who are not from Louisiana, you know. Most people from Louisiana call it, like, New Orleans. Yeah, you know, that's where you get the saying NOLA, New Orleans. It's kind of more of like a city accent. You have to think about it in that regard. New Orleans is kind of like pecan. It's not, it's pecans, not pecans or pecans. Same thing with New Orleans. It's not New Orleans, it's New Orleans. Baton Rouge. It's not Baton Rouge, it's Baton Rouge, you know. Jolts comes out at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Caramel. Yeah, New Orleans accent. And I said New Orleans as a troll against you guys. It's more of like a city accent. So like a lot of people think it's country, and it kind of is, but it's hard to explain. Like, it's more of like, it almost sounds like some people think, and I grew up 45 minutes from New Orleans, and so, you know, I grew up there. But it's a city accent. That's what you have to understand about it. It's not a, you know, it's not a country accent per se. It's more of a city accent. Yeah, I mean, that's right, grape. How do you pronounce Appalachian? All right, so again, SPY now dipping down again. You can see how well engulfing candles, just simple engulfing candles work, right? You can see how powerful they can be. I'm a little bit late on it, so I missed the last one, but simple, basic engulfing candles, like watching for just pure engulfing candles can be powerful. A creek? I don't even know what a crick is. Creek. Florida or Texas to settle with a family and a home. I mean, it depends. I mean, they're both good and bad in their own ways. So they're both good and bad in their own ways. It really depends on what you want to do. Depends on the city as well. I mean, I'm in Texas right now, so I'm biased towards Texas, but Florida also has the beach. You know, that's a pretty good plus to me. All right, guys, so is the bull market back? I've seen a lot of people speculate on it. In crypto, that is. In crypto. Is the bull market back in crypto? What? Bro, I just shorted this. How in the world? Okay, there it goes, man. I was about to say. Alright, that's better. Bitcoin up 150% this year. Alright, so again, the SPY bouncing directly. Y'all want to know why I watched the 200 EMA? You guys want to know why I watched the 200 EMA? It's because of this. Look at the SPY bounce directly off of that 200 EMA level. Like, literally bounced exactly off of it. Yeah. Yeah. People are weird, Pawn. People are just obsessive and strange. Just off. Weird. I gotta get better fills here, dude. I'm like getting filled and it's not crediting me with the fill here a lot. So strange, man. Like, what the heck is going on, bro? Like, it's genuinely crazy, dude. Like, how in the world did I get filled? I wish I would have recorded this. Like, bro, like I was just up like $300 in a trade and somehow it came in as a losing trade. And now, okay, look, yeah, the fills are off. I gotta watch Rhythmic. Okay, now it actually credited. Weird. So now we're up. Okay, whatever. I was about to say. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be specific, but just people are weird, man. People are obsessive and strange and like spend too much time trying to, you know. No, I'm not going to be specific. But what I'll tell you is that people are freaking weird, man. People sitting at home on their computer just, you know. I couldn't imagine like taking a step back and like looking at myself acting the way some people act and like be happy with myself. I couldn't imagine it, you know. Again, I'm not going to be specific. I know you guys are probably going to want me to, but some people are off. I restarted it this morning on the platform. Is the bear market here to stay for a while? Oh, if we're talking about stocks, I think it depends on this week and next. Next week we got CPI, PPI, Fed rate hike decision. Friday we got unemployment and payroll numbers, and so we got a bunch of stuff coming out. So it really depends. No, because like I'm trading on one of my Combine accounts early this morning, and again, this is a Combine account, and I'm up, you know, $723 or $720, right? But when I got filled on the last one, it was like a trade where I was up $200 or $300, but then it did this gap down here instead, right? So it confused me. It gapped down, so I'm like, hey, I should have been up $200 or $300. And then I quickly then I tried to test it again. So I just kind of hit enter and exit really quick. And then all of a sudden this pops up, even though I actually made this gain on the last trade. And so it's just a little off on crediting it. Yeah, I heard about that, Sam. No, not you, Sam. I mean, not unless, never mind. But no, not you. Yeah. All right, so again, I'm using Chart Prime a ton with my trading right now. We got the Jolts report coming out today, and so y'all be ready for that also. And I think the NASDAQ is in a really obvious trend here as well. Like, here's Tesla. Tesla's kind of in the same trend. So, right, like, if we look at this short term, and again, I don't know for sure if anything's going to hold. And this is just a 1 minute trend. And so, obviously, it's going to be a little bit less reliable. But I think it looks pretty solid trend-wise, like percentage-wise and trend-wise. 1739, what is... I wish they would let me get it, like... That looks like a pretty obvious trend. And again, my angle might be a little off here. But that looks like a pretty obvious trend for Tesla. The NASDAQ is also in a very similar trend. Like, if we look at the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ over the past... like, look. NASDAQ is in a very similar trend over the last couple of minutes. We're actually pulling right back down to the bottom of this trend line. I don't know if we're going to hold this or not, of course. I'm certainly not telling you to buy it or anything like that because I have no freaking idea what's going to happen here. But interesting for sure, I think. Yeah, I'm bullish long-term Yan, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it's Jan or Yan, but I'm bullish long-term for the most part. We trade a little bit of everything, 5 minute and 1 minute. I have a bunch of different accounts that I'm looking up in monitors. I'm looking up on the sides. I'm not, Raphael. Yeah, Fed minutes indicated a pause until June. Right, but monetary policy changes in the Fed for sure. Like, they change so much stuff monetary policy-wise. Gym pics are some of the most cringy stuff I can ever see, man. Like, it's fine to take pictures of yourself in the gym, right? Like, that's okay. I'm not judging you for that. You know what I mean? But don't take pictures of yourself in the gym flexing and like trying to look cool. You know, I get it, but like, I don't know, man. Fed minutes indicated a policy. LC stocks to watch. I'm not telling anybody to buy it. I'm not going to right now. Some news on the phase 2 TNXP. TNXP still around, bro. I remember this one's been talked about for a while. Still doing pretty bad at 50 cents a share. You know what I mean? So like, again, the problem is like if you pull up a long-term chart for TNXP, this looks like the worst company I've ever seen. Worse than the company we looked at yesterday. Like, that's a pretty bad long-term chart, you know? And so, again, look at this. That's a weekly chart. I don't know, brother. Yeah, the gym's just a weird place right now. Just a weird place right now. That's the last company you want TOS to short. Yeah, I mean, the problem with Microsoft is that Microsoft has been incredibly strong, right? Microsoft's been incredibly strong, obviously, over the last couple weeks. Look at this move. So Microsoft has gone from 310s all the way up to freaking 380s, almost $400. It's at 370s right now for Microsoft. So it's been incredibly strong over the past little bit. And so shorting that thing, again, short term is fine. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you to short it. But short term, you can make your own theses regarding this type of stuff. But just for me, I'm not personally shorting anything like this long term. I think that's super risky. You're stacking the odds against you. And I think trading and investing and swing trading specifically is mostly about using favorable probabilities. And I think most of the favorable probabilities in blue chip companies is on the upside. Now, sometimes PE ratios can be high and they can be extended on the upside, and that's true and fine. And so short term, you can short, do whatever you want to do. But if you find yourself long term shorting a blue chip company that keeps pushing up, again, you're testing, you know, probabilities. I wouldn't do it. Even more weirdest guys setting up a tripod to video themselves working out. I mean, again, I'm okay with somebody doing that as long as they don't use it to like shame other people at the gym. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain degree of like narcissism that I think happens. And I think certain people who haven't accomplished much like start taking performance enhancing stuff and like trying to just get super swole because they need validation. And I'm okay with doing whatever you want to do in life. I really am. But as long as you don't use that to like shame other people, you know, like specifically at the gym, like as long as you don't start pointing your camera at other people and making fun of them, I'm okay with it. You know, people get weird though at the gym. Am I wrong for assessing that GameStop burning call already? It really needs to happen to set some guidance. The earnings call, we haven't gotten that in quite some time. Yeah, I mean, GameStop earnings is interesting for sure. So if we look at GameStop's EPS graph, right? So if we take a look at their EPS graph, right? GameStop, this is their 12-month quarterly EPS, right? So here's their 12-month quarterly EPS. It has been trending better, right? And so again, this is EPS, which is profitability in GameStop, right? So this is how profitable a company is. So what you see is they're losing money, but it's trending better. It has been trending better. And so, you know, the question now with GameStop, specifically in terms of expectations here, is GameStop is expecting 12-cent loss per share. So they're still expecting a 12-cent loss. They're expecting a much larger loss than they came in at last time. But it's still within the margin of error in which we could have a profitable quarter for GameStop if they do much better than expected. They just have to do 13 cents better than expected to have a profitable EPS. And again, EPS is margins. Like, revenue is a lot of the time the more watched statistic, though. So, like, revenue is kind of like the potential, like the ceiling. So to take a look at their historical revenue moving forward, and this time they're expecting 1.18 billion. 1.18 billion. The problem with GameStop, again, and I've said this before, is that over time, digital downloading is going to become more and more prevalent. It's going to become more and more common. More people are going to do it. And so unless GameStop pivots to something else, their revenue is gonna continue to go down over time. You know, and I think that's something that we're seeing. And so I think GameStop has to pivot. And again, I'm not spreading FUD by saying this. This is just the facts behind it. Like more and more people every year are downloading digital copies over physical, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with that. That's what's going on. And so over time, what that means, GameStop revenue-wise, is that their revenue might continue to decrease. And so, but again, this time they are expecting 1.18 billion, which is a little bit higher than this last one here. And so again, I think if they can start to just break even, they'll be okay. But that's what you want to look at regarding GameStop. GameStop has had a big surge of market action, you know, lately. Here's GameStop. You know, GameStop has had a really good day yesterday. When the rest of the market's kind of neutral or down, GameStop has been showing positive signs. I use Quant Tower. I like Top Step. Top Step X though. You are 100% right on that opinion. Shorting blue chips long term is a pain in the butt. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Again, a lot of people want to be contrarian. They want to be Michael Burry. They want to call the next big short and have foresight and be contrarian. And I get it. But what smart investors and traders do is they look at the odds, right? They look at the history. They look at the odds. They look at probabilities. And so betting against the healthiest companies in the world long term is a sucker's bet. It's usually something that rookie traders do. And so don't be a rookie trader. Be smart. Climbing gyms. I thought PMI was today. PMI is today, but it's at 9:45 and 10. Soar. Yeah, I heard about Soar. Describe this company to me. SPAC. Yeah, but did it just now IPO? Because I'm showing it IPO'd in February of 2021. Why does it only have 1 day of history for Soar? Etsy? I'm actually in Etsy right now. I'm break even. So it's pushed up a lot the last few days, so I'm kind of break even. Probably my guess is for holidays. A lot of people order stuff like this on the holidays. And so that's my guess at why this thing's pushing up. But again, I'm in it right now. I hope it continues to go up. You know, I'm basically flat right now, which is nice. The last time I looked at it, I was down like $100. So that's cool to see. We'll see if it keeps it up. I hope it keeps going up. Again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step is a funded program in futures, guys. Again, they give you a demo, they test your skill. Look at Tesla dip. And again, if you want to gain exposure to trading stocks with no PDT rule, try the futures market out. You can't trade stocks directly, but you can trade index funds like the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver. The patterns are very, very similar to stocks. There's just no PDT rule. So it gets you around the PDT rule to a certain extent. Top Step is the most legit funded program in the world. They give you a demo. They test your skill. The base one's $50K. It's only $49. If you can make $3K in profit without losing over $2K and following the rest of their rules, they fund you $50K with a 90% split. So a 90% split is basically similar to what you're going to get putting up the money up yourself. The difference is the risk. You're taking much less risk. You're needing much less equity to do this, right? So it's a great way to learn day trading. You have some pressure. It's not the full extent of a live account, but it's a great middle ground of pressure and incredibly useful for traders overall. Great way to learn how to day trade. Again, they've been around for over a decade. They pay out millions, fund thousands of traders a year. They're just the most legit funded program. Again, they are a sponsor of mine. Here's the link. I'm certainly biased, of course, but check them out. Great way to learn. All right. Okay, NASDAQ starting to dip down some. Man, Chart Prime has been on fire today, man. It really has been. Morgan Stanley tried pushing a chat bot created by OpenAI, but wealth managers at the bank said they want to talk to a person instead. That's because banks, wealth managers understand that they're going to get replaced by these, bro. Like, that's what they understand. Like, bank tellers, they understand they're going to get replaced by AI to a certain extent. The biggest people who are losing, you want to know the biggest losers from AI? Customer service representatives, right? If that is your career, it depends on how long you're doing it, but if your career is a CSR rep, I give you 5 years or less in that career before AI completely takes it over. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're not going to still need CSRs because people are going to want to talk to people, but I think over time it's going to become better and better and more intuitive and more lifelike, and so it's going to be virtually indistinguishable from a real person, and so. Pause our Discord one. There we go. All right, guys, we got the Jolts report dropping in an hour, guys. An hour. We also have, again, we have services and non-manufacturing PMI data coming out at 9:45. Regular services PMI at 9:45. Non-manufacturing, which is basically services PMI at 10. So be ready for that. We also have the Jolts report at 10, which is the biggest one. I would reach out to them, Jay. You could limit order, mark it in, mark it out, limit order in, limit order out. It's all up to what their spreads are like. You got to reach out to them. I'm not, you know, you'd have to ask them, bro. Yeah, I'll put a timer up. So the first one is at 9:45 actually, and again, you can kind of see we're still in this trend. So with that, we're gonna have 42.5 minutes left. So 9:45 is the first one. We got about 42 minutes left. The Nasdaq's still pushing back up here. We're gonna get ready to day trade some more here. And again, you can kind of see we built up a nice cushion so far on one of our combine accounts. I guess we'll keep playing with this. PMI is today. So we do have PMI today. Again, the Jolts report is incredibly relevant for jobs, guys. Yeah, the market, you know, the Jolts report, very relevant for jobs and data. Part of me wants to short this really quick here. I'm a little bit late. Okay, maybe not. There we go, 40. We're gonna go and lock that in, scalp a little bit more. See, it did it again, guys. Look, like I took that trade and then it said I lost. So like, I'm not sure I'm gonna exit out of this and then look at it again. Alright, so I should have held that short, but that's okay. Let's see what our poll numbers say here. A lot of people said our polls switched to more optimism lately. And that's true. 52% think that we're going to get a bullish reaction from the Jolts report. 33% think bearish. 15 honest folks say, I don't know. What do you think gold will respond to the news? I'm not sure. Gold has pushed up a lot, though. So, like, gold has had a pretty good bull run. Tesla also pulling right back down to the VWAP here in the 200 EMA. Gold has been basically flat from 2040 to 2050 over the last couple minutes. So, gold hasn't really done that much, man. Gold hasn't really done that much. Today. Gold's had a crazy good week. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what Bruce is doing. I think it has to do with my son. Hold on one second. All right, we're here. So you think it's going to be bearish? I'm really not sure what we're going to get today. I really don't know whether we're going to get bullish or bearish action. Nobody does. I hope it's bullish, but it really depends on what the Jolts report shows up as. If the Jolts report shows up higher than expected, I think we're going to get bearish action. If the Jolts report shows out lower than expected, I think we're going to get bullish action. And so it depends on what the jobs report shows. And the reason it's like that, again, is because I've said this many times today, but Fed Jerome Powell has said that the market in jobs is too robust. The jobs market is too robust, that in order for inflation to hit the 2% target, it needs the job and the labor markets to drop. Because basically too many people working, too many people spending, businesses are still raising prices in that regard, and it's hurting inflation, and you know, it's making our inflation issues worse. And so what the Fed said they need to help slow inflation is the labor market weakening. And so again, it's something in which today with the Jolts report, and again, if you don't understand you know, what this actually is, the Jolts report is done by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's looking at data from businesses about employment, job openings, hires, separations, and recruitments. It defines a job opening as positions that are opened on the last business day of the month. If it meets these three things, it's considered a job opening. Number one is a specific position exists and there is actual availability there. Number two, the job could start within 30 days, whether or not the establishment finds a person. And three, there's active recruitment for workers from outside the establishment location. And so again, basically, more job openings signals a stronger labor market. A stronger labor market is not going to be seen as a positive right now, in my opinion, because of Powell's comments regarding this. And he's stated these comments not just in the last FOMC, in the minutes report, as well as in the but also in the interviews that he's done over the last couple months, and really the last like 6 months. He's been pretty consistent about this fact. And so again, that means we want to watch the job market. We want to see if the job market is going to keep going up, and that's why the Jolts report today, as well as again ISM non-manufacturing, i.e. it used to be called ISM services, but at 9:45 p.m. today, or 9:45 a.m. we have the services PMI for November. This one's released by Market Economics. It's not a huge report, but it does drop. Again, it drops at 9:45. That's the timer that you see here. At 10 a.m., we have what's called the ISM services. Really, it's labeled the ISM non-manufacturing PMI. That's probably the biggest PMI report. ISM is the Institute of Supply Management. It reports on businesses, and this specific indicates the non-manufacturing sector, whether it's expanding or contracting. 50 is the neutral level, so above 50 means that the services industry is expanding. Below 50 indicates that the service industry is contracting, and expectations for that today are 52. So a slight expanding services sector according to the expectations if we hit that. Again, below 50. Same thing here. Above 50, the more over 50, the worse it probably means for stocks. The lesser below 52, the better it means regarding stocks. Same thing for services PMI. Same thing. 50 signals above 50 means improving. Below 50 means deteriorating services sector. 50.8 is what's expected. So right neutral, middle ground there. And again, Tesla. That's the way to interpret this report. Well, then, Victor, you're probably trading with the micros. And again, I don't trade with micros. I trade with regular ones. All right, guys. Hey, we got 15 minutes, a little bit over 15 minutes before the market opens. I'm going short. Don't know about y'all. I feel like trading like a degenerate today. Be careful, bro. I don't know if you know, I don't know if that's the right move. Again, I'm looking at my equities portfolio, and again, my equities account's got, you know, we're getting close to 70K or so in this equities account. Right now, TOS gives me over $200,000 in day trading buying power on TOS with that. One thing y'all don't see me do, man, I should have stayed in the short. You know, we got the alert from Chart Prime. I should have stayed in the short. Yeah, micros indeed. Micros are too small, Victor. The reason they're too small, brother, again, for me personally, I used to try to trade the micros. And I understand, like, coming from, like, a stock background, a lot of people are going to look at it in terms of, like, okay, well, like, we need to trade small. Maybe the regular E-mini moves too quickly in both the E-mini and the NASDAQ, or the S&P and the NASDAQ E-minis. And I understand that. But you also have to understand in futures there are commissions. And so to compensate for those commissions, micros are just going to build up a lot of commission and not really get you anywhere, in my opinion. Because of that, like, I never trade micros anymore because it's just not worth it. There's too much, there's too many commissions that show up with micros. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. It's all purely up to you, brother. It's a be safe, but I'm not going to, yeah, I'm not gonna trade micros. I took that short off of Chart Prime. Yeah, again, if you look at Chart Prime, I'm telling you guys, I've used this a lot today. And again, you see me base these trades around it. You know, I told you guys I was building up this Combine account. And you can see I'm up like 700 on this account today. A lot of these have been based around Chart Prime signals. I'll show you what I'm doing, kind of give you a breakdown. Look, I'm gonna make this one small just so you can kind of see one example of it. So like, here's an example, right? Number one, you can see the buy and sell signals. This is from what's called the Market Oracle Pro on Chart Prime. Strong buy signal, bounce. Look at the sell signal, drop, buy signal. This one we could probably say didn't work. Sell signal there worked. Look at the reversal signal. So the reversal signals here and here are from what's called the Market Oracle, the regular Market Oracle. But you can see when you get a reversal and a bullish engulfing candle, beautiful follow through, in my opinion, beautiful follow through. But even if you're just looking at the buy and sell signals, look at this buy signal show up here, beautiful bounce, sell signal showing up here, beautiful drop, buy signal showing up here, and then you see the strong sell signal, which is actually what gave me that last trade in the E-mini. I think that's the one that gave me the last trade. And so you can kind of see I'm using this for trading. There's so much stuff. I'm using these on both 1 minute and 5 minutes. So like, if you look at all of the services I have up, right, like here's a 1 minute chart on the right side here. The reason I took that last short was actually from this. We got the sell signal and that bearish engulfing candle, and engulfing candles can just be powerful. But since we had both of those alerts on Chart Prime, we've got beautiful breakdowns from it. And again, they are a sponsor of mine, and so I'm biased for sure in their favor. But again, genuinely useful in my opinion. It's like 50 bucks a month, I think, if you use my link. You can get a lifetime subscription for like 1,000, I think. But just really useful. I can't guarantee you're gonna make money. I can't guarantee they're gonna work for you, of course. Nobody can. But again, if you want to check them out, that's kind of what I used today to build up some of this cushion. Genuinely, a lot of people act like I don't use it, but I certainly use this in the background. And again, you can kind of see why. You know, look at the reversal signal here as well. Like, let me get this out the way. Look at the reversal signal here, which is another NASDAQ trade. I took beautiful breakdowns from it. And this line right here is called the dynamic reactor. Really nice VWAP kind of type level there. All right, so we're sitting tight. NASDAQ is starting to break down. Tesla's starting to flush too. And again, if you want to check out Chart Prime here, let me put this link up. You can also find it in the description as well. Yeah, I trade usually just one regular E-mini, one regular NASDAQ. HSCS. Sketchy penny stock, 23-cent stock. Just long-term downward trend over time. It's gone from $6 at its highs to 19 cents. Just not my style. You know, just not my style of trade. I mean, good luck. I hope you guys make some money with it, but yeah, I'm not messing with this. All right, guys, so I think if you add to that sentiment or trend and only follow this, yeah, 100%. I use the Chart Prime signals like and indicators with my own like bias and sentiment, and that seems to work fairly well. Of course, I can't guarantee anything works. You guys know me. My big thing is like I don't ever claim definitively anything, so I can't guarantee anything's gonna work. Nobody can. You always got to make your own assessment, trade responsibly. Also, we just threw it in sub only mode, so if you have not already, slap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. Kirill's gonna sit by with you, you know, for a couple seconds. All right.
sit in the chair. Morning, y'all. Hey, Tiny. Morning. Hope y'all are well. Finally feeling like winter here where we are. It's nice and cold outside. I say cold, but like I'm really cold sensitive, so like 50 is cold for me, so. Takeover? Oh, I don't think so. I don't have nearly enough nearly enough of the knowledge base that John's got. So what happened to John? He I think his coffee kicked in. YOLO all the money into his Tesla calls. Oh no, he'd be so upset. I don't even know how to. You know, I did do, he has showed me how to do like quick trades. I guess he calls it scalping. But, make sure he doesn't lose any money today. I don't even know what he's doing. I don't even see where his, who am I liking for shorts today? You know, I haven't really looked at the market very much lately. I come in here and I kind of like check on John and see how he's doing. And so I'll see a few things, you know, just whatever he has up, but I haven't really been looking. But I don't know. Oh, he's back. Long here with John's whole portfolio.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Honestly, it might not be a bad long. The problem is like the SPY's at lows right now.
He's they've been tempting me to
YOLO on Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
That's alright. Maybe next time, guys. Maybe next time. Yeah.
Negative 18. Oh my goodness.
Where are you?
That's too cold for me.
It's cold here today too, I think, right? It was cold yesterday.
Yeah, but not like that.
No, definitely
it's
not
like
that.
it's like 40 or 50 here.
That's cold to me. Yeah, 40 or 50 is pretty cold.
Long or short? On what stock? Which one are you talking about?
We're talking about the broad market. NASDAQ 100 is like an index fund, mostly tech based. It's a little bit more tech heavy than like the S&P, but it's like broad market.
I don't know. I mean, I guess. And so, like here, this is the NASDAQ?
Yes, the NASDAQ 100.
Okay.
That's on a daily chart though, so like zoom out.
Here, yeah, let me.
So it's mostly been choppy. We dropped a little bit overnight, and then really the last few days have been red.
Yeah.
But it's up a lot this year. Like to put it into perspective, here's the SPY this year, the S&P. That's the S&P this year. So like the S&P's up a lot already.
Well, if it's well, if it's up, I don't know if I'd go long. I mean, if it's up now. You know.
Arm wrestle John, show us who's boss. There was one point in time where Carol actually legitimately thought she would win the arm wrestle.
Yeah.
And then we
but
wrestled.
John was like 20 and like really skinny.
I was 20 and like 135 pounds.
You know?
But she still thought she would win, but I still won, you know. Top 3 arm wrestlers in the world at this point in time though, you know. Why is Apple up right now? WTF? I don't know, I'm in Apple. I hope it goes up, bro.
Have we ever felt like trading has become a hurdle in our relationship?
No.
No, not really.
Trading brings in money, you know, so like it's an asset more than anything. You know what I mean? Like trading brings in money business-wise. Like this YouTube channel is a business. Y'all have to understand. I never hide that fact. Like we certainly earn money from this YouTube channel, and so I mean it's an asset.
Yeah, never lets the wife win anything. It's like that. I don't know if y'all have seen the like Scrubs whenever Turk and Carla and JD and what's his face? I don't know if it was Mandy Moore or who it was, and they're like arm wrestling, and JD lets his little girlfriend win, and Turk is like, bam, you know, that's what you get,
I'm
Carla.
Yeah.
You know, this is what you get when you mess with the warrior.
That's me.
That's That's John.
I'm Turk.
He's Turk, yeah. So
I let my kids win until they were like 5.
Eagle. Yep.
Yeah.
Got some Scrubs fans.
I let my kids win up until they were like 5. My daughter still asks me to this day. She was like, "Man, I used to be good at soccer when I was 4. I used to beat you all the time, Dad."
Yeah.
I looked at her and just kind of squinted my eyes and said, "Really?" And then she said, and so she realized I let her win.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna give John back his chair.
All right, baby. Thank you for helping me manage the stream.
Yeah, I told him it was your coffee.
Yeah, hey, it's healthy. It's healthy. You know what I mean? It's healthy. Trading and YouTube channel are 2 different things. Not really. Not when the YouTube channel is called beginner trading. You know what I mean? So like, their trading in itself is all related to this.
All right, you guys. Hope you'll have a good day. Here, I'm gonna head out.
All right, baby.
All right. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Love you. All right, guys. So we got 4 minutes here. 4 minutes. Let's see what we get today. Let's see what we get today. Yeah, Nasdaq's mostly been flat, although we're at the bottom of the range. Like, look at how sideways the Nasdaq has been. Carol definitely didn't like trading when I first started it, right? Like, it was something in which, like, to be honest, it was something in which she was like, "Hey, don't risk our money." And then I lost it in the beginning. Like, I ended up losing thousands when I first got started. I always tell people that. And then I did what was right, and I just kind of stepped away and didn't trade anymore after that for like a year. And when I came back, I was much more conservative with my trading, as well as I started to build the YouTube channel. And at first, building the YouTube channel was like, "Hey, baby, I got 300 subscribers." And she was like, "That's cool, baby. Like, that's cool." You know what I mean? And then I'd be like, "Oh, look, I got over 1,000 subscribers." And she'd be like, "That's cool, baby. Like, you know, good for you." And then eventually it started to earn money. And I would be like, "Hey, look, you know, I made over $1,000 from this, you know, over a month." And like, once I started to do that, that's when she really started to like pay attention to it and understand that like I had a plan with building it. But it took time, and I understand the skepticism involved. You know, like when you start anything like this, you know, there's gonna be skepticism from people you love and care about, and that's okay. You know, it's normal. I'd probably be skeptical too. Yeah, I mean, the Nasdaq is such in a sideways range. Alright, Apple over 192. But we're kind of primed up just for the opening bell team. You can kind of see it right here. We're kind of primed just for this. Alright, guys, we got the Jolts report coming out too. Jolts report drops pretty soon today, guys. It drops in about 15 minutes for services PMI, and then in about 30 minutes we got the Jolts report live. Alright, guys, so what else do we have here? Alright, we're ready. Alright, so look at the Nasdaq rip up ahead of the opening bell. That's a big move up. Again, we're still in this range though, so I'm kind of skeptical to take any big sizable like direction here, because you can kind of see we're back and forth. Oh, thanks so much. Did we get a super chat? Thanks for sharing. I was just curious because it seems like you guys are a good team with it. Yeah, I mean, her and I have been together for... There's the market open, guys. Market just opened. Oh, look at Tesla pop. Look at Tesla popping at the opening bell on the right side of the screen right here. Look at Tesla bounce. But no, her and I have been together since 2009. So we've been together for, 15 years. You know what I mean? Give or take. About 15 years, 14 years. So, like, we've been through some stuff. And, yeah, we've been together for a long time. All right, Apple at 191.50s here, 191.50s. The timer is from when services PMI drops. Man, look at Tesla rip at the opening bell. Wow. Tesla just ripped. Big bounce. Look at Tesla at 235s again. Tesla flying back up too. We're gonna let things slow down at the opening bell, though. I don't want to take too crazy of risks here. SPY up, NASDAQ up. NASDAQ's starting to dip down a little bit. Let's see where NVIDIA is at right now. Again, NVIDIA's pushing up a little bit initially. It's at 255. It rejected at the previous close, though. Again, I'm letting things settle first. I don't know where this is going to go, and I'd like things to settle before we take any crazy big size. I'm going to take one side short of the NASDAQ here, but it's definitely risky. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut this pretty soon. We'll give it one more second. If we break that high again, we're cutting it. Yeah, we're going to have to cut it, unfortunately. Luckily, it looks like prior to this, we were up about 730, so we're up about 530 now. Definitely a big move on the upside. Look at Tesla rising though. Tesla's ripping up here too. Wow. All right, guys, we got the Jolts report. We got services PMI. Maybe the market's waiting and quiet for that too. Certainly possible. Let me see this. Hold on a second. Okay. NASDAQ started to flush back down. We are actually in an E-mini short here. We're up about 112, 150. Go ahead and lock that in. I'm confused though because maybe that loss I took didn't show up, which is weird. No, anyways, it says we are up 867 on the account. Oh wait, I'm in a trade? Okay, yeah, we're still in the trade. All right, good. Man, I'm almost forgot about that one. That would have been bad. And we're gonna cut that a little bit early. All right, so yeah, we are up right now on the day, 8:37. Sorry, I bumped my mic a little bit. 8:37. Kind of a choppy action here, guys. And remember, in 10 minutes we have services PMI data. In 10 minutes we have services PMI. And so, we'll see. Tesla just broke highs again. Jolts report gonna be lit. Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see if it I'm not I was in the E-mini, and so I'm kind of going back and forth between entering the E-mini and the NASDAQ here. Bitcoin broke 32 again. Did it really? Yeah, we're back in the E-mini here, short. Looking for a push down here. We got 2 contracts now. Regular E-mini. Up 40. I'm gonna take half off there, lock in that gain. And we're trying to let the rest work, but we're trying to take smaller size trades today because we got the Jolts report. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and lock that $75 gain in. So we just locked that in. We're up 930.29 on this one on the day. 925. And again, we're just kind of chopping it slowly. Yeah, Tesla's flying up to 238 right now. The whole market's kind of going the opposite though, which is interesting. NVIDIA's starting to rise back up. Look at NVIDIA bounce here, guys. This might drag everything else back up with it. Look at NVIDIA rise. I'm going to put the NVIDIA chart on the top right now. Look at NVIDIA rise. Technically green on the day now for NVIDIA. NVIDIA's green. Tesla with a huge green day here. And again, I'm in Tesla. So. I don't think it's that, Sam. I think just most people don't follow tips from chat. You know what I mean? Like, I know I personally don't follow any random tips from chat, regardless of who posts them. You know what I mean? And I don't think necessarily following tips is a good move, to be honest. Nothing against you. I'm not saying your tips are bad. I'm just saying I think you gotta kind of learn how to trade yourself. I'm not a big entry exit person that follows anybody's entries and exits. You know what I mean? Now with that said, I use stuff like Chart Prime, but it's a little different, you know. This is the market's mostly moving up because of the Bank of America CEO says capital and banking system has stayed strong. Bank of America forecasts to slow down in the economy, but it's staying positive. You see that here. Apple near 3 trillion. I'm in Apple too. Yeah, Apple's ripping up too. You love to see it. I mean, we're green in Apple, we're green in Tesla, red in a lot of other stuff though. All right, very large pullback on the NASDAQ here. Very large. I'm gonna buy one dip here, see if we get a quick pop. There we go. Just locked in another $100. See, and now it just refreshed that loss that I took earlier, dude. That's so strange, man. That's so odd. At first I was hoping it skipped the loss, but that's all right, I guess. Now we're up 700. It's just so odd, man. Like the loss shows up. The loss shows up like 10 minutes later. Hey, it's all good, I guess. I'm gonna buy this dip real quick. Here, just getting punished on this dip. I wanted to give it time as it bounced back a little bit, but I don't know if I like this. We could take a larger swing now if we want, or we could just get out risk management wise and just cut it small, which is probably the move I'm gonna go with. Yeah, we're gonna cut that. All right, see, now it reflects on the upside, but we're basically gonna give that right back too, and that's okay. E-mini is very flat, very flat. Look at that Dow. Tesla pulling back. Let's see if Tesla ramps. Yeah, I appreciate anybody that that participates in my chat room. Like, I really do. You know, I'm just not a big tips guy. Like, I don't follow anybody's picks in chat or anything like that. And it should be, but I appreciate you guys. If y'all are, again, as long as you're not forcing people to follow them, you know, put out your call outs. It's all good. I appreciate them nonetheless. All right, Tesla's starting to clear back up. NVIDIA still trying to hold the struggles. All right, guys. Yeah, we got 2.5 minutes left until services PMI data drops. So regular services PMI by market economics drops in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And so, ahead of this, we might have sideways chop. So y'all just be smart, be careful. All right, guys, here we go. 2.5 minutes, guys, 2.5 minutes. All right, look at the NASDAQ bouncing back up again. Look at NVIDIA is really what's dragging this back up too. Again, look at it. Look at the NASDAQ pop. Again, this is mostly from NVIDIA right now. Look at NVIDIA on the right side. NVIDIA at 457s. Again, this is my day so far here, guys. We are up about 720 or so is what it says. Here we go. We got less than 2 minutes before services PMI drops, and then we have non-manufacturing, and the Jolts report is the big boy one that drops at 10 a.m. So Tesla testing highs again, NVIDIA shooting up. All right, NASDAQ ripping up here from NVIDIA here ahead of this jobs report. Again, 45 seconds left, guys. 45 seconds left for services PMI to drop. 45 seconds. We'll see if it comes in good or bad. All right, here we go. Services PMI, 20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds. Here we go. We are ready. We are set. Services PMI about to drop right now. And here we go. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Again, services PMI is expected at 50.8. There's the drop. It came in at 50.8 as expected for services. as expected for services at 50.8. Now, again, we also have non-manufacturing PMI dropping at 10, which is basically ISM services PMI report. Okay, so that drops at 10 o'clock. It used to be called services. Now it's called non-manufacturing. Okay, but that is the bigger one. It drops in 15 minutes. Again, it drops in 15 minutes, as well as the big boy today, which is the Jolts report in 15 minutes. So, again, be ready. Team, be ready. This one drops soon. Again, services came in as expected at 50.8. Again, as expected at 50.8. The big one that drops, again, next is... the big one that drops again is... the ISM one, as well as the Jolts report. All right. All right, so again, we'll put this up on screen. 50.8 is as expected. NASDAQ's been in a very, very obvious trend. I think everybody can kind of see the trend. But again, remember, the big boy report today is the Jolts report. Again, Jolts is expected today specifically at, guys, Jolts is expected today specifically at 9.3 million. 9.3 million. Actually, we'll put this up on screen so you guys can see it. This up on screen so you can kind of see the expected number as well here. Again, look at Tesla test highs and NVIDIA as well. So Tesla's starting to test highs, starting to rip up. Bitcoin pushing up to 4.3 thousand. Oh, SOAR performed a ticker change. That makes sense. Yeah, definitely top 3 fastest typers ever in the world, for sure. Definitely top 3. All right, guys. Hey, hit that subscribe button, guys. You know we do this live for free every weekday morning right here. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. If you want to learn to day trade and get around the PDT rule, check out Top Step. Top Step funded program in futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you lose, you're only out what you pay for the combine. If you're good enough to pass it, you still get a 90% split. In the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ. The patterns are very similar to blue chip companies, just no PDT rule, and these funded account programs are actually allowed in futures. Okay, you can day trade essentially the SPY and the Q in futures, no PDT rule. Great way to learn day trading. Limited risk. The reward is 90% split once you're funded. They have free funding, coaches, tons of great resources. A great way to learn. Help support your boy here. Check out this channel link. Again, you get the base one for 49 bucks. All right, guys. You guys ready? We got about 600 people here. Again, hit that subscribe button. We do this live every day right here for free. All right, guys, remember, services PMI. Equities market's starting to look a little bit better for sure. I see some equities starting to bounce back. We've been in this trend here. The question is, when does this trend break? Is the real question. Like, when does this trend break? And I'm not sure. We got 11 minutes, team, 11 minutes. If you're subscribed, announce yourself. Show us that you're subbed. If I want to follow this trend, I would buy this here on the NASDAQ. Let me see what the E-mini is doing. The E-mini is so choppy and boring, man. Unfortunately. Maybe it's waiting for this job report to come out. But I think we also got to watch Tesla here, too. tonight, guys. All right, team. So we got a couple things that we're looking at here. All right, guys. So here's the Jolts report coming out in 9.5 minutes, guys. 9.5 minutes. Or 8.5 minutes, I should say. Yeah, I hit 120,000 subs. Again, Tesla's starting to pull in a very obvious channel, mostly waiting for this job report to drop, is what my guess is. It's probably waiting for this job report. All right, so again, NASDAQ still very obvious trend. Tesla pulling back to 237s. We'll see if this has any influence over the rest of the market here, team. All right, guys. Hey, we got 7.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Again, real quick, before this report, will the market go up or down from this report? Let us know. Again, Jolts drops in less than 10 minutes. NASDAQ's right at the top of the range. I'm long in the queue. Does Jolt impact the market a lot? It's going to be the biggest impact today, specifically over anything else, except for maybe MongoDB earnings. But I think Jolts is probably going to have the biggest impact on markets today. So I think Jolts is probably the biggest report today. Tomorrow we have GameStop and C3 AI earnings that we're going to be streaming in the evening, as well as non-farm opening, non-farm employment. As well. And so we got another jobs report tomorrow. NVIDIA breaking highs again, over 460s right now, guys. Over 460s, starting to head up. All right, so we got over 600 people here live. Again, Tesla bouncing right at that 237 level, still pushing up. NVIDIA squeezed to the moon. Yeah, again, NVIDIA is surging up right now at 460s. Tesla's bouncing at 238s. My equities portfolio is looking better for sure. Still kind of a red day though in most stuff. Yeah, you can kind of see this pattern is what a lot of people are probably talking about right now. I tend to prefer parallel trends more than wedges. I like to watch just kind of parallel trends and then see when they break, and so that's the parallel trend that I see currently, although there might be an arguably better, you know, ascending or descending trend or whatever you guys want to call it, wedge, triangle, whatever, but right now I like this parallel trend so far. It's the most interesting one in my opinion that we can see on the chart right now. Yeah, Bitcoin's surging up, so that's kind of dragging it all up as well with this. Again, the Jolts report and services PMI data drops very soon, team, very soon. All right, we're starting to head up. We're at 238s on Tesla. Again, Tesla's going to have like a big influence over this too. All right, here we go, guys. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. You guys ready? We're approaching 700 people here live. We still got 4 minutes left or so. Again, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream if you haven't already. This is one of the bigger reports of the week for Jolts. Like, Jolts is one of the bigger reports. Still surging up, guys. Tesla still holding at the highs. Is this Jolts report going to shut down this bull action that we've had today so far, or is it going to catapult it further on the upside? What do you guys think? Again, quick. Write higher or lower in chat on what you guys think the job report's going to come in at. I think the job report personally going to come in higher, so I'm going to put higher in chat. But again, I have no idea, and I might be wildly wrong, but just my guess is that their Jolts report's going to come in higher than expected. So again, I'm going to put higher up in chat. Again, let me know if you guys think it's going to come in higher or lower. Higher or lower, guys. I think it's going to come in higher personally, but again, I might be wildly wrong. Straight up guess. I think the job market has been incredibly robust lately, and that's what the Fed has said as well. And so I'm not going to be shocked if the jobs report comes in high today, and that causes negative bearish action in markets. Higher, higher, lower, lower, higher, higher, higher. Yeah, that's my guess is higher. But again, straight up guess. Pure speculation. I have no freaking idea what it's going to come in at. What I will say is that this is probably going to cause at least some volatility. At least some volatility. And so be careful if you're in a position and 10 o'clock hits, because it's probably at least going to cause some volatility. So just trade light, trade small if you need to, trade safe. Again, we don't know what this is going to show. Just y'all be careful. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. All right, here we go. A minute and a half left, guys. A minute and a half left. We got over 700 people here. Y'all ready? Let's do this. A minute and a half left. We also have the economic optimism report, ISM non-manufacturing, basically services PMI expected at 52. 52. We'll see if I'm right about my speculation regarding whether this is going to be good or bad for markets here. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. We got 40 seconds left, guys. 40 seconds left. Again, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Guys, make sure you're fully caught up on stream. You want your live, the red dot. You want there to be a red dot next to your live button on your next to your play button on the chat. That means you're fully caught up on stream. Again, 30 seconds, guys. 30 seconds. Here we go. We're kind of straddling this trend line that we've drawn here. Again, NVIDIA on the right. All right, here we go. We got about 800 people here live. Here we go. Here's the report. Jolts expected at 9.3 million, 9.3 million. Non-manufacturing came in higher than expected for non-manufacturing. It came in at 52.7 versus 52. 52.7 for services PMI versus 52. The Jolts report hasn't showed up yet. So the Jolts report's not out yet. But again, PMI data came in higher than expected. It did cause a bump in markets. Jolt report's a little bit late. So we're waiting here, waiting for the Jolts report. Market has so far reacted positively to this. Again, waiting for Jolts. 8.73 million, 8.73 million, 8.73 million. Lower than expected, 8.73 million. That, as I speculated here, would cause positive responses, higher than expected, or lower than expected Jolts report, way more influential on the positive side, and the market loves this right now. The market has absolutely loved this. Big pop-up. The Jolts report came in noticeably lower than expected. ISM services PMI did come in higher than expected, but the Jolts job opening came in at 8.733 million, 8.733 million. Much lower than expected. Again, the market wants that for sure. Again, the market wants that for sure. We're going to put this up on screen. Like I told you guys, the market does not want more jobs right now. The market does not want more jobs. It's one of the reasons you see the Jolts report come in low and the market react favorably to that. Because again, the market does not want more jobs. It simply does not want more people working. And again, that is causing some positive increases in markets here. We're going to see if we get some bullish action here. This is a positive report for sure. A positive report for sure. We're going to see if we can get some good action here. Some good trade action. All right, so we just scalped half of this off. We took half of the position off. We are riding this long. And if you want to trade on a funded account program, look, we're up 75. Go to take the rest of that off. So we just locked that in. Here's our P&L. We're day trading on a funded account program called Top Step. They give you a demo and they test your skill. They give you a demo account. If you can make 3K in profit on the 50K demo without losing over 2K, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. And so what this does is it limits your risk if you're learning. If you lose, you're only out 50 bucks instead of losing thousands like you would putting up the money up yourself. But if you're good enough to pass it, you're going to keep 90% of your profit after you're funded anyway. And so that's very similar to what you would get putting up the money up yourself, but it's just noticeably less risk. There's no PDT in futures. You can day trade short. What you see me trading here is the NASDAQ. It's basically the Q. What you can also trade essentially the SPY. Tesla, rip it up. You can see the pattern on Tesla and the NASDAQ are very similar. And so this is the way you gain exposure to day trading stocks without actually being able to day trade stocks directly. There's no PDT in futures. Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. They pay out millions and fund thousands of traders every year. If you want to check them out, here's the link. Great way to help support your boy here. There's the link right there. And again, I told you guys all morning what the probable reaction to this report would be. I told you guys all morning. Again, I told you guys if we came in lower than expected, the market was probably going to react in a positive way. You know, again, y'all can watch other channels that don't know what they're talking about and are just kind of piggybacking off of what they think is important stuff that people want to see. Or y'all can follow somebody that actually understands economics here, guys. Hit the subscribe button. You know you want to. Try it one time. Top 3 economists in the world right now. Tesla flying up right now. Tesla at 241, NVIDIA at 465. Equities portfolio is moving up nicely with all of that stuff as well. You love to see it. I told you guys exactly how we would react to super early this morning. I told you guys what we would get. I told you guys, again, conventionally, the market might want more people working. Again, conventionally, they might want lower unemployment. Those are all positive things conventionally. Not right now, and I told you guys this over and over again today. Not right now. The reason for it is because if you pay attention to what Powell says, he said the job market is too resilient. It's too resilient. He says he thought that it's too robust. And while my guess beforehand of it coming in higher was wrong, certainly, my prediction on the reaction to this was not. And again, if you heard me over and over again say this, my prediction, Apple rip it up right now as well in this report. My prediction was that if we came in lower than expected, the market would go up. And we came in noticeably lower than expected. The market is bumping up right now, bumping up. That's why I follow us, because it gives better insight to results. Hey, thanks so much, Justin. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Yeah, we try, man. Again, you see a lot of people trying to cover this stuff lately, but half of them don't know what they're talking about. Some of them, you know, got started with like AMC and GameStop, and they don't really know what this stuff is or how to like interpret it, but they're just kind of bandwagging it, so to speak. You know what I mean? Versus me, who's been following all this stuff for years and years. You know. Again, sub if you haven't already, team. Hey, nice, BG. Right, exactly. Slowing economy, which is what rate hikes are trying to do. Rate hikes are trying to slow the economy. But a soft landing, you'll hear that said over and over again. A soft landing is when they raise rates aggressively to slow the economy without causing a recession. All right, so we're finally getting a little dip here in markets. All right, so will the market keep hammering up here? It's been a couple bearish few weeks here after big increases to the upside. Will the market move up? Will the market slow? We got a big move up and a small pullback. We'll see if this holds or what. Jolts reports his job openings around the world. You can trade like micro Bitcoin futures. You can trade micro Bitcoin futures. And I think micro ETH futures. Water is wet, I see. Water is wet. Yeah. Again, we might buy this little dip here. See if we can catch a little pop. Buy this little dip, see if we catch a bounce. There we go, there's the pop. See if it holds. There we go. I'm gonna go and lock that in. We're also in the E-mini right now, long too. Same side. Gonna lock that in as well, cover that. There we go, we'll take that. Kind of scalping this move on top step. Hey, thanks so much, Tony. Appreciate the love, guys. Is it just me, or does such a big miss on job openings point to an enhanced risk of a recession? It's just you. The market shows what the broad sentiment is. And again, I'm not hating on you, August. I'm sorry, not Augusto, August. I'm not hating on you, brother. What I'm trying to tell you, though, is like you got to think about like a lot of the time bears and bulls, they will kind of morph the data to be what they want it to be, right? So if you're bearish, you're going to say, oh, well, this is bad, right? If you're bullish, you're going to say this is good, right? But to understand the true nature of these reports, you have to look at what the Fed specifically says, because that's what almost everybody else is. That's what economists are looking at. That's what like big time people watching the economy, that are watching the market, that's what they're doing. They're looking at what the Fed says versus what the data shows, right? What the Fed said is that one of the hurdles to getting to our 2% inflation goal over time is the job market right now. They said the job market has been too robust. It's been too resilient. You know, basically, too many people are working right now to slow the economy, right? And so that is going to be the big nuance of this report and the rest of the job reports for the rest of the week, which is that more jobs numbers is bad, according to the Fed, right? Because that's what's going to influence the Fed's decision on whether they want to raise rates, which will have a more direct effect on things in the economy. And so that's the way you have to look at it, right? So basically, the Fed said that more jobs is bad, and so that's probably the way in which the market is going to respond. You know, the whole reason the Fed is raising rates is to discourage the economy, to push down the economy. There's the rate hikes are not just freebies. You know, the rate hikes are going to affect banks in a negative way. They're going to cause banks to raise interest rates and all this other stuff, right? And so if we're going to get anything out of these rate hikes, we have to discourage spending through the jobs market, is what the Fed is essentially saying right now. And so because of that, sure, there's a balancing effect in which there's a balancing effect in which more aggressive rate hikes is usually going to cause more short-term pain, but it's going to do more for long-term inflation problems. And with that, you know, it's a balancing act of what is the market fearing, a recession or inflation. Right now, these reports, as well as the Fed, have showed that the market, much more so than fearing a recession, especially when you consider GDP that came out a week ago. GDP came in above expectations, right, for first revision GDP data. And so when GDP is coming out higher than expected, that doesn't signal a recession. And so with that in mind, since GDP is looking resilient, we need the job market to slow. That is basically what the Fed's saying. That is why the market is reacting positively to this report, if you want to understand the economics behind it. Because again, we're not close to a recession right now. GDP doesn't show that. Unemployment certainly doesn't show that. The jobs market doesn't show that. And so it's a balancing act. Like, the Fed's job is to raise rates aggressively enough to combat inflation without causing a recession. And if the Fed thought we were at recession risks, they wouldn't be talking about needing to push the job market down as much. You know what I mean? Because what a recession is high unemployment and losing GDP. You know what I mean? Because we have high GDP and low unemployment, the recession is not a risk here. And it's certainly not going to mean that the Jolts report is going to influence the market negatively. I hope that all that makes sense. No, it's definitely not for sure, DC. We might get a recession next year, but it's certainly not a for sure thing. It's arguable. I mean, again, if it was a for sure thing, we'd hear that expectation. You know, it's certainly not a for sure thing. It's certainly possible, though, as well. But nothing's for sure, especially not a recession. You know, the Fed's trying the hardest to get the soft landing that they want. And so, but again, it could certainly happen. You know what I mean? But we're not there yet. But with that said, though, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bow out for the day. Hey, I love you all. Again, if you want to day trade with less risk, check out Top Step. Great way to learn how to day trade. You know, a funded account program. Check out Chart Prime. A lot of my trades today were based around that. We ended the day up about 7 something. So pretty good day all around. Use Chart Prime a ton. You can check out both of my sponsors in the description. I love you all. Hey, back tomorrow morning. We got a lot of stuff dropping tomorrow morning. We got the job openings. We got C3 earnings. We got GameStop earnings. We got a lot of stuff coming out. So y'all be ready. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all be safe. Have a great day. Subscribe if you haven't yet, team. We appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Tiny. Thanks, B. Thanks, S. Thanks, P. Sorry, I'm abbreviate all your names. Y'all be good.